We have a massive Andrew Peeke update as things are not looking good with his injury. We're going to be talking about that as well as the Boston Fleet. They have released their jerseys today, and I want to discuss this with you guys. And headlining today, we have a very interesting quote from Jim Montgomery discussing Nikita Zadorov and a really big thing that we're going to have to consider going forward about his play style. We're going to be talking about all of that here in this video. Now, before we do, we are currently at the recording of this video, 4,882 subscribers. We're aiming for 5K. If we can hit that by mid-November, that would be absolutely unbelievable. Your guys' support has been absolutely insane lately, and I do just want to say one thing. Thank you all so much for the support. It means the world to me. But without any further ado, we need to get into our first topic here, which is, of course, the headline. Jim Montgomery and a few more people that we will have some videos here has spoken out about Nikita Zadorov and his play with the Boston Bruins. Now, this does come out from several tweets. I will get into who they are from in a moment, as I cannot remember at this very moment, but one of them is Scott McLaughlin and a few other people. And I want to pull up the first one that we do have here from Jim Montgomery, and he discussed a play style and how Zadorov has fit into this lineup. And this may perk up a few ears of Boston's Bruins fans and leave you a bit concerned, but I do very, very much recommend here, do not worry at this very moment. And here's the clip, and I want you guys to listen to it very, very closely.
Don't see him pressing. I think overall, I think he's finding his way in our systems. And I think at times he looks like he's understanding exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And at times he looks like he's not.
And as you've seen there, a lot of uncertainty from Jim Montgomery, it seems like, when discussing Nikita Zadorov, a guy who really still hasn't found his peak level with the Boston Bruins, a guy that we've been waiting to see his peak level, although has had some very, very big moments to shine, and also some moments where we see him at almost what seems like his really lowest. And going further into this, we do have another quote coming from a podcast with Scott McLaughlin discussing what Pierre, McGuire, and a few more that I want you guys to listen to, kind of in response to this. And Pierre McGuire had a lot to say about Nikita Zadorov as well, and here is this one.
He's very nasty. The biggest thing with him, and I don't want to scare Bruins fans, is he's got to be receptive to coaching. He's moved around a lot. And when you're a player that big and that fast and that tough, the question starts to be, why have you moved around so much? Those are hard guys to find. And I know a lot of the guys that have worked with him over time, they like him a lot as a person. They just hope he can be more receptive to coaching. And if he can, he's going to be a very good player for the Bruins. But that's the key for him, receptive to coaching.
And once again, some very interesting things coming this time from Pierre McGuire. And this kind of all stems from a tweet here where this was found from Brian DeFelice, guys from the Skate Podcast. Do recommend going listen to it if you're in here from Boston Bruin News. But an interesting comment from Jim Montgomery on Nikita Zadorov with his inconsistent grasp of a system play. Pierre McGuire mentioned on the Skate Podcast how being receptive to coaching has been a challenge throughout Zadorov's career and would be the key to his success in Boston. And as I mentioned, that's what we're kind of seeing. We're kind of seeing a few ups, some downs, some very, very highs, but also some very, very lows. And it seems like, as Jim Montgomery said, that we're almost just about finding it. It feels like sometimes we do see that for Zadorov, and sometimes we don't, which is something that I know is early in his Bruins career. I'm still thinking that we're still going to see much, much better at Zadorov as time goes on, but the fact that this is coming out, and that we've kind of been able to see this so far throughout his Bruins tenure, it can bring up a few concerns here. And looking at what we've seen from Zadorov in the past here, you can see quite a few teams. The Boston Bruins, the Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flames, Chicago Blackhawks, Colorado Avalanche, Buffalo Sabres. And a guy like Zadorov, how solid he is, his play style, how big he is. You don't normally think of him as the guy that will kind of float around a whole bunch of teams and really go from there. But with 4 points in 14 games this season, 25 penalty minutes, still a bit of a slow start. But, he's not a guy that's going out and getting goals, assists. He's not one of those guys, but I still like what I'm seeing out of Zadorov. I still think there's a lot of potential out of him. I'm still very excited to see how he does progress, how things come further with him. But it definitely is something to keep in mind, I guess, is what we're seeing throughout the rest of this season. So let me know what you think about these quotes here. And also, what do you guys think about Nikita Zadorov as a whole? Do you think that this could be a bit of a concerning point with Jim Montgomery and the Bruins going forward, or do you think it's just going to be a matter of time? I'm very, very curious to kind of see the responses for this, but as we progress, we do have some more updates here, and this one's an Andrew Peeke injury update, and this is a bit of a concerning one. We've seen Andrew Peeke go down against the Toronto Maple Leafs, did not return to that game, and now being labeled week to week. And this one comes from Scott McLaughlin and Jim Montgomery. Andrew Peeke is week to week. no defenseman call-up as of right now. So that's where we're at. No defenseman call-up, but Andrew Peeke is out week to week. We've seen him start majority of the season on the third line, majority of the third line defensively, sorry. And we've seen most of his game so far be not really, something's in the media, which I guess for this point with the Boston Bruins where we stand, not really a bad thing. A lot of stuff we're hearing from the Boston Bruins coming out of games is negative, but if you're not really hearing anything from them, I guess we can consider that a positive. And looking at what we've seen from Andrew Peeke this season, 13 games, 2 points, 7 shots, 20 giveaways, 16 minutes time on ice, -2, kind of what you're seeing out of a mid-team third-line defenseman. I still do like Andrew Peeke a lot, and I mentioned last year when we did acquire him that I think he's going to be a big talent for this Boston Bruins team. I think that he's going to hold a lot of value, even though it may not seem like it. We've seen his time with the Columbus Blue Jackets really have quite a few games. Then ultimately, they just found some people that they thought were better and sat him. So I think Andrew Peeke still has a lot of time left to get, once again, healthy, get into a rhythm, and probably move up. But right now, it is a bit of a sucking injury update that we're seeing. It does suck. He's gone out week to week. But I guess we can say in a bit of good news from that side, we still do have Parker Wotherspoon, a guy that I'm very excited to see actually get an opportunity in this lineup. And as you see from Fluto Shinzawa on the AM lines this morning, Parker Wotherspoon's paired up with Mason Lohrei on that third line defensive pairing. This is the line that I always love to see. Two of these young guys, I think a lot of potential coming out of these guys. Parker Wotherspoon on a bit of the older side compared to Mason Lohrei, but still, I think that there's a lot of talent that we see on this third line. I think there's another line that we can see some energy get going, some momentum get going throughout this season, throughout, the games that we're seeing, and that's one thing the Bruins have been lacking is bringing energy. We've seen that fourth line of Beecher, Kastlik, and, Cole Koepke in these cases. Now, Trent Frederic here in the AM lines this morning for tonight's game. But ultimately, I like what I see out of this line, this season and the last season. So hopefully we do obviously see Andrew Peeke back as soon as possible healthy. Week to week definitely does suck where we didn't have to call up a defenseman if someone wanted to sit out. But right now, no moves. We'll be keeping you guys updated with any moves that do come out of this, of course. Still early yet. We still got to see how Wotherspoon plays and everything. And by the way we've seen him play so far this season, I am totally digging what I see. But we're going to move on to our final topic here. As you've seen from the intro, the Boston Fleet have revealed their jerseys. And I know this is not the Boston Bruins, but we got to show love to the Boston Fleet. The PWHL is taking a major step up this season with team names and jerseys. And what we've seen from the excitement last year, I gotta say, I'm very excited to see this season. Now that the teams actually feel like they have an identity, this is going to be unreal. And I gotta say, these jerseys are absolutely fantastic. Here's our first one that we're seeing, and I believe they're rocking the same thing. Home are going to be dark, and lights are going to be away as the NHL. But the color combination here, the blue, the green, and the white, I absolutely love this. This is going to be a jersey that I may have in the background here along with the Boston Bruins jersey. But, we got this, and as well as going on to another one here, looking at the away jersey, a bit of a different color scheme. The lighter blue along with the dark blue and the green as well as the white. I got to say, these are going to look real nice on the ice. I kind of just want to throw this out there and let you guys be able to see them because, of course, this is going to be something that we hope to see more of, that this is growing at an immense rate. And I do want to talk about the Boston Fleet a bit more here on this channel. And, still the primary focus of the Boston Bruins, but like I said, we got to show love to the Boston Fleet. This team is going to be very, very fun this season. So let me know what you think about all of the news that we had here today. Obviously, a lot of stuff that we had to go over, starting from Nikita Zadorov to Andrew Peeke to the jerseys, and we're going to have a lot more news coming out. A big game tonight here that we need to see a win, a nice big bounce back, and hopefully the team comes out here fully healthy, of course, with a big dub. So, like I said, I'll be keeping you guys up to date with all of the news, and remember, we're almost at 5K, almost at our goal, and we want to hit this as soon as possible. I don't have a set date, but mid-November, I think that's what I'm eyeing. And I know you guys can do it. You're the best community for the Boston Bruins on YouTube, but that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy us, as always, give it a like, hit the sub button. I'll be bringing you guys all of your Boston Bruins news, but I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.